I still can't explain it. Not properly. But I know this. If you sleep around, there is a price to pay. It all started on a normal evening, just like any other. The kind of evening when the air feels heavy and the wall outside your window seems to hold it bright. I had spent the day at my auntie's place in the village, helping with chores, listening to the old women gossip. But as the sun sank low, I had a strange feeling creeping up my spine, something I couldn't shake. I didn't expect what's happening when I returned home. My stepmother, Mma Adama, had always been a white woman. She wasn't bad. Not in the way most people think of evil stepmothers. She was kind, yes, but there was something about her eyes, something cold. She wasn't like the other women in the village, with their warm laughter and gentle chatter. No, she was different. She didn't really smile much, and her voice always sounded like she was hitting something. It wasn't until that night that I learned exactly what she was hitting. My father had gone to the next village for some errand. I was alone with Mma Adama in the house. The sun had set, leaving the room dim with only the glow of the fire in the hearth. The night was usually quiet, and I noticed that the birds had stopped singing. It felt like the entire world was holding it bright. I didn't think much of it at first. After all, I had always been a restless sleeper. I would sleep anyway, at all, and that had never been a problem. But that night, everything changed. "Come, child," she said, her voice as smooth as honey. But there was an edge to it. "You look tired. Rest, and I will wake you when your father returns." I nodded, though I felt something strange stir in my chest. I had heard stories about charm and spirits, about women who could manipulate the mind. But those were just stories. Foolish tales to scare children. I didn't know then that my stepmother was no ordinary woman. She wasn't just someone who made food and cared for me when my real mother had passed. No, she was something darker, something that knew how to bend fate with her hands. I lay down on the mat, and within minutes, I drifted into a deep, heavy sleep. But when I woke, hours had passed, and the house was still dark. It was strange. My father wasn't back yet, but I felt an urgency, a cold sensation, creeping up my skin. And then I saw her. She was standing by the fire, watching me, but wasn't looking at me the way a mother would. With concern, okay, no, she was studying me, her gaze sharp and hungry. I tried to sit up, but my body felt heavy, like it was made of stone. "You are still tired, child," she whispered, and this time her voice seems to come from all directions, as if the words themselves were speaking. "Sleep a little longer, let the dreams come to you." I tried to resist, tried to move, but my ears felt like they were glued shut. I couldn't understand why. I couldn't wake up. I could hear the wind outside, the cracking of the fire, but I couldn't move. The world was fading away again. I knew. Deep down, something wasn't right. When I woke again, the house was different. The air smelled wrong, and there was an unfamiliar weight in my chest. I looked around, saw my stepmother sitting by the fire, her eyes gleaming in the dark. But it wasn't her eyes that chilled me. No, it was a faint, unnatural smile cooling on her lips. "You are awake," she said softly. "It's time for you to learn." I don't understand. My stepmother had always been quiet, distant but never cruel. What was happening to me? I tried to stand up, but my legs wouldn't obey. It was like I was bound to the floor by invisible chains. "Do you want to know the truth, child?" she asks. Her voice now is soft his. "You think you are just a sleepy girl, don't you? You think you are just all the time, but that's not it. No, you have been sleeping for a reason." She paused, and in that moment, the room seems to grow colder. "I made you sleep every time you close your eyes. It wasn't just sleep. It was a spell, a charm I placed on you. I had to make you sleep to make you forget everything." I didn't understand. The words didn't make sense. How could she? How could anyone do that? But before I could say anything, she continued, her voice like a cold breeze. "You were never meant to be my child. You were meant to be a sacrifice. I was waiting for this moment when you would sleep too deeply, too long, when your soul would wander and I could take it." The room spun around me, and I felt a rush of cold air sweep over me, like I was being pulled into some dark void. I wanted to scream, but no sound came from my mouth. My heart pounded in my chest as my stepmother moved closer, her hands reaching out like claws. "You see, I am no ordinary woman," she said almost lovingly. "I am a daughter of the old spirits, the ones who whisper in the night. I have watched you, child, wash your restless soul. You sleep too much. I was waiting for the night, the right time to collect you." It hit me then. I had been too tired, too lost in my own dreams. The night where I couldn't stay awake, the strain, unsettling exhaustion that never seems to leave me. It had all been her doing, pulling me deeper into her trap, using my own tiredness against me. I don't remember how I got away, but I must have. Somehow, I find myself outside the cold, mild air, beating into my skin. I ran and ran until I couldn't run anymore. I never went back to that house. I never saw Mama that again. But I have heard whispers in the village, stories of a woman who manipulates the sleeps of those who wander too close, who lure them into dreams and feeds on their soul. I am always too tired now. No matter how much sleep I get, I wonder if I am still under her spell, if I am still in the grip of that nightmare, slowly fading away piece of piece. So take this advice, my friends, never sleep too deeply. There are things that wait for those who forget themselves in sleep, things that can change everything, and sometimes they are closer than you think.